Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. The elders in Connecticut, the bishops, the brothers in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, to you sisters, you Akwatium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson, and let's go.
And what the Nazis had settled on for mind control was that a person first needed to be malnourished. The second thing was they needed to have heavy metals, aluminum was their one of choice at that time, deposited into their bodies. The third thing that they needed was to have negative stimulus, punishment if you don't do what we tell you to do. And then the fourth thing, repeat messaging. When you do those four things, what you create is a person who is now willing to suggestibility and willing to be controlled in their mind. In 1945, Alan Dulles brings 1,600 Nazi scientists into the United States. It's called Operation Paperclip. He clears all their records. He makes sure they avoid getting involved in the Nuremberg trials. All of them certainly would have been sentenced to death. He brought them into the United States, put them in our government, and gave them unlimited funding because he loved what they were doing with mind control. These scientists brought all the Nazi science into the United States. And so now you have rollout of the Nazi agenda in the United States and then starting to go globally because everybody is taking what the United States is doing as the way of the future. Those repeated messages that the Nazis were doing, those became commercials.
Yeah, so this is Deuteronomy 28 and 28, right? Because ultimately, yeah, you know, you got the Project Paperclip, MK Ultra, you got all these different things, lead, paints, all these different things that they used to put into the projects, into the paint, toys, all this stuff to aim towards you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, and especially for you so-called Negroes, right? Because why? We are the Israelites, right? So they're against us, but ultimately it's the Lord that allowed them to do that, right? So the Lord said what? It says Yahweh shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart, right? Because look, you're being hit and bombarded with commercials, conditions, like you know, like he was like someone was saying, how is it that the prisons, the hospitals, and all these things have pretty much, they're built the same, having the same function to pretty much put you into that mind frame, like the dude was saying. Right? So you're smiting, you're getting bombarded with all these different informations, right? Re-education or not educated at all, right? This your enemy. You can't expect for him to actually educate you, right? An astonishment of heart meaning lob, which is your mind, right? Your mind is not gonna know everything that's going. Now you're a Negro, or you're African American, or you're Mexican, or you're Native American, you're Puerto Rican, or Cuban, right? Right, and then you're proud, living la vida loca type. You're proud of who you are, right? When those are farsi, those are bywords, right? By names, right? Besides just calling you a nigger or a spick, to call you a Mexican or Native American or call you Negro or African American, that's just as bad, if not worse, right? So that's the things of the MK Ultras, this Project Paperclip, the things that they knew that they used. We said 1,600 scientists just to to put your mind in disarray, so you don't know that you're the Israelites, right? And thus shall grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, right? A blind person can't see. See, and you're in a condition where, because of the science and because of the food, the what is it called? The GMO foods, the blatant lies of history, and things that they fail to tell you. But here it is, your brother, who the Lord had set up, is breaking down some things, common sense to you, right? That's why the Lord said, make it plain upon tables. Common sense tells you, even if you're a so-called Mexican, even if you're a so-called Puerto Rican, you have to admit, at least on behalf of your brother, right? Whether you hate him or not, you got to come to a conclusion. There is something fishy about how you went from Negro to colored to Afro, which is a hairstyle, right? And when you go into Negro basically means black. Color just means a color, right? And then all the way back to basically black, then people will say, or African American. So why is this one people, they think constantly is changing? And then you kind of know, as Mexican or so-called Native American, you know a little bit part of your your initial language was not English, or your initial language was not Spanish. So what did you speak before these conquerors, these Edomites, have came and conquered you, and then forced these things upon you? Force the white Messiah on you, right? When the Bible says opposite. So you're groping at at noonday as a blind man grope in darkness, right? Because he's blind. And thus shall not prosper in thy way. So through all these things, what you haven't really prospered in the way that you should, especially knowing who you are. Even though we've created and done a lot of great things in America, you can't really truly prosper until you really know who you are, right? And thus shall be only oppressed and what? Spoiled, right? Spoiled means to be taken. And we've been taken advantage of through redlining, through housing zones, throwing you just to reservations, putting you in the ghettos, the vadios, just spoiling you as far as how much education they're willing to give you. They're not willing to give you all enough. They don't really teach you how to play the stock market, how to hey, they don't even want to do a basic thing like teach you how to balance a checkbook, let alone show you how to do real estate and all these different things, essential things to be a man and to thrive. You know what I mean? So it says evermore, spoil evermore, and no man shall save thee. Which, yeah, no one's coming there to say, hey, and come out of there. But except for what now, the Lord said He should save the apostles for last, and so that's what's going down, man. Yeah, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. This is a Bible Hub, Salakia. Almost messed up on that, but yeah, Bible Hub. I'm gonna go right here, the first verse for the New International Version. It says, "For it seemed to me that the Most High had put us apostles on display." See, the apostles are on display, man. The Lord said your teachers shall not be removed into a corner anymore. They're on display, man. At the end of the possession, right? Let's look up what possession means. So this right here. Possession, right? and it says a number of people, right? That's us, the number of people, hopefully being the hopeful elect, right? A number of people, or a vehicles moving forward in order, in an orderly fashion, right? And that's what the Lord said He does. He says, the Lord said, let everything be done in what, in decency and in order, right? There's an order to way we do things. So, right, it says especially as part of a ceremony, or what, a festival, right? A funeral procession, right? But the Lord said, let the dead bury the dead. So, but to keep going, basically it's saying what? Parade, march, right? Motorcade. A motorcade. Let's see. I think I like this one right here. That yantra. He says yantra. Yatra. It says a procession or pilgrimage. See, yeah, that's what the Lord said we were to do. What? Be pilgrims upon this earth. A pilgrimage, especially one of a religious purpose, and that's us all day, right? Yeah. So this is a new international version right here of 1 Corinthians 4:9. Finished it off right here. Like those condemned to die, right? When you deal with our situation, uh, uh you know, 1,600 scientists betting on you to condemn you to die, man. Right? So that's us, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. We were condemned to die, right? In the arena, right? Hey, in this world, what the Lord say, that this world is what, a stage, man. And this arena called the world is a stage, right? We have been made a spectacle. See, and what happens to a person on the stage? Everybody's staring at them. They made like what, a spectacle on stage, and the stage is what the world, right? The world is a stage to the whole universe, right? Because the Lord said that even angels marvel at the things that's going on between the relationship between God and the Israelite man. Not all men, like church would like to tell you, but the Israelite man, right? Says to angels as well as hey man, you can't make this up. To angels as well as human beings, right? You know? Yeah, look at this one right here. The New Living Translation. Instead, I sometimes think the Most High put us apostles on display like prisoners of war. Whoa, wow, wubsy, right? Crazy, right? You can't make this up. Who else are they talking about, right? You so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. We didn't have to fraudulate an event that 6 million people wasn't even in that area. You know what I mean? We don't have to fraudulate. Hundreds of millions of us died, man. Right? And then and that's them being nice, right? Because the what is it, the sure mercies of the wicked are cruel. So in his thing of thinking it's mercy, oh, I don't know, roughly, and that's him trying not to look like a bad guy, because he's never trying to look like the bad guy, and he still gives you 75 million. Well, we killed about 75 million native. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? In his mind, hey man, but yeah, the Lord displayed like what, prisoners of war at the end of a victorious or victorious. I don't know how you say victorious parade. right? Right. Hey, you can't make this up. Condemned what? To die. Hey, we were condemned to die, but we're gonna be victorious in the end. This is a march or but basically a procession, a journey of many men dealing with the elect, meant to die, but walking towards victory, being out there on the highways and the byways, presenting your body as a living sacrifice every day. So you're walking towards a victory, man. Right? We have become a a spectacle to the entire world, to people and angels alike. Man, whoa. The Most High is cold with it, man. That's the beauty of this truth.
They build jails based on fourth grade population reading level. So if you aren't able to read by fourth grade, that's the projection that they use to build the institution. So you got to start early.
What? Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Failing in reading, we know they're going to be future inmates.
Yes. If you don't put them on the right path to success. Because why aren't they reading? Are they getting the help they need at home? Are they in the right schools? What's contributing to that illiteracy or not being able to read?
How do we protect black men? They're being prosecuted.
We have to just make sure that we start them before they get to that point where they need a lawyer or that they're facing criminal prosecution or any sort of action. And that is with the mentoring, with the sponsoring.
Yeah.
It's all about who they see, who they want to emulate, who's pouring into them first. You got to grab our kids before the gang grabs them.
Yeah. So, to add on to basically, what I mean? Going right into what we were saying, this thing is set up for us to be in what? Prison, confused, not knowing who we are, right? So it says, these are part of the curses, right? So this is Deuteronomy, which proves that we have to be these Israelites, right? That this Bible is talking about, because it says it should be a curse on you forever, right? Right here, right, 46. Just so you understand. It says Deuteronomy 26 and 46, and they shall, what should be on these curses? Should be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. Well then, who's walking around not knowing who they are, and these you wish people, these people who rule in the world, their whole twist to the whole thing is to say that we were identity crisis. Well, then that proves that we would have to be these people. The Lord said we will be groping in noon, as in the day, when the sun is the brightest in the sky, as a blind man grope at that in the darkness. If that's not us, who and where is he? Like the scriptures say, if you know what I'm saying, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and he covered the face of the judges thereof. If it ain't Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed so-called white man, if not where, who is he? Who is this man? And this is the same thing you should be saying about who are these people who the Lord said it should be a wonder. Like, Stan, you should be, wow, I wonder who could, it can't be these devils, right? It can't be. They're not groping around. I know I'm all the way back to Moses, and I have proof. Well, that's not what the Bible said that you would have. The Lord said you will be groping, man. You wouldn't know. And upon thy seed, which mean your children, so they're going to be just one person. It's going to be a continuous thing, generational thing, right? So my father didn't know who my father's father, none of them know who. So obviously we had to be us, right? Even for you native tribes, once you're here and your ancestors been here, there's still so much stuff that's lost. You truly don't know who you are. You got a little bit, small bit of a better understanding, but then not really. If you don't know that you're a Hebrew Israelite, you have really no understanding. If you don't know that the so-called black man is your brother, you have no understanding, right? So, but let me keep going. Yeah, thy seed, and upon thy seed forever, right? Let me continue. It says, and therefore, 48, therefore, thus shall serve thy enemies, and we did that, man. To all sorts of slavery, even to this day. Not just slavery, Not just our mothers was the maids and this and that and the lawn servants, right? Then they flipped it around, and now basically it's Issachar, the ones who's mostly the maids and doing the lawn service. But regardless, we've been serving this devil, and we still serving him. You go to your corporate jobs or whatever job you have, that I guarantee it's a white man who's a Fortune 500 owner, guaranteed, most of the time. Now, unless you work for yourself, but even then, all your material has to come from this devil, right? Yeah. So yeah, serve thy enemy, in which Yahweh shall send against thee, and in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and a want of all things. So basically, I was kind of getting ahead of myself, but that's basically what it is. And in want of all things, you got to go to this devil for all that. So that's what she's saying. You got to send your kid to this educational school, which the previous video I showed you, that 1,600 scientists breaking this down before they even sent your kid to these schools. You're talking 1940s. Previous to that, to 1940, where were we at? We were in our own schools, being taught by our own people, right? Having a far better education, right? That's when you get all those great inventors back then, right? God dang, I don't know why I can't remember the guy that invented the car, but he was a friend. The guy, the so-called black man, which is really an Israelite. I should look his name. I need to look it up. But he invented the car, and Henry Ford was his friend. And Henry Ford, all he did was mass produce it. He didn't create the car. He took his idea and figured if you just mass, and basically he could just take claim, like the Edomites do. Let me look it up, man. Yeah, so here it is. It's this is Black Past. You can look it up, blackpast.org. His name is Frederick Douglass Peterson, right? Which was named after another great so-called black man, which is an Israelite, right? Frederick Douglass, who was an escaped slave and became great in the political field and basically social justice, for his people, I mean, I don't know how much he really did, but I mean, he was, I guess he was there. He was trying to do things. It was great to see he had escaped from slavery and he was doing his thing. But but this is Frederick Douglass Peterson, born in 1871 and died in 1932. The other Frederick Douglass, I think he died in the 1895, right? So this guy was just born a little bit before Frederick Douglass died, right? So yeah, this is the so-called black man, which is an Israelite who created the car. And he was friends with Henry Ford, which basically started mass producing the car and slapped his name on it. So now everybody think this guy is the one who created cars. No, he was the first one to mass produce the cars, right? Yeah, so it says, and one of all things. Okay, let me finish it up. 28, 48, one of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. So we had that in slavery. But now what we have it mentally. Until he have destroyed thee, right? And he does to the point where now he don't have to have the yoke of iron upon your neck. He don't have to have the chains on your wrists. You're destroyed anyway. And then a lot of you are so destroyed that you don't feel comfortable unless you got chains on your wrists. You keep committing crime after crime after crime, going back to prison, right? It's bizarre, man. Like, man, you know what I mean? Definitely destroyed for the lack of knowledge, It says, let's go to the next verse. It says, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, right? And we're talking about the one with the deadly wound that was healed, right? Which Rome a symbol was the eagle, and so is America. So was Spain, right? the French, or all these Edomite, their whole mo it's always been the eagle. The Dutch, the French, the Spanish, the Portugal, their whole thing has been the eagle, a proud, filthy bird, just like they are proud and filthy, man. So it behooves you to understand, to learn that you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are the Israelites, man. So it says, a nation whose tongue thus shall not understand. Hey, when the conquistador got here, you Mexicans didn't understand Spanish, right? You Puerto Ricans didn't understand Spanish. You Dominicans didn't understand Spanish. Now you're so proud of this whole Spanish thing. You walk around and call yourself a language. I'm Hispanic, or I'm Spanish. Well, that's a language. It's not a nationality. You're Puerto Rican. You're a port. A port is where things come in and come out at, right? You're Dominican. You're a holy dog, right? Which don't add up to, instead of you being Simeon or Ephraim, right? Which the Lord gave you righteous names, right? It says Salakia, nation against thee, for whose tongues thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce consonants, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Hey, and they did that, man. This is dealing with your children. Your children going to these prisons, all these different things. They setting it up. They're not setting it up so your kid can actually read, right? If you got to come to me for one of all things, and I'm your enemy, I'm not going to give you the best things. I'm your enemy. And then you, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Indians, you go around marching and all this stuff, and you're appalled that you're not getting the best things. Well, the first thing you got to recognize is this is your enemy. And once you get that understanding, what would I do in the same situation? I know these people are my enemy. I'm not going to give you the best of things. I'm not going to give you things to have an advantage, right? And when you do, right, like Black Wall Street was so-called black people and so-called Native American people. The Black Wall Street was on Native American land. When they seen us prospering, they flew planes and dropped bombs on us, right? And you know there had to be a couple Issacharites around there somewhere. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It probably had to be Levi. I mean, pretty much all the tribes were probably there, you know? You probably had Levi there, most likely, because you can't go nowhere without Levi being there. You can't go nowhere without Issachar being around, right? Then you had Gad, then you had Judah. So basically, a lot of the tribes were already right there, creating the Black Wall Street. But what happened? Boom! They blew it up. About 7 blocks or something like that. It was crazy. But let's say yeah, it should not show favor should not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle, right? Native Americans had cattle, all this other stuff. The buffalo, they damn near shot up and killed all the buffalo, right? Right? And the fruit of thy land, right? They tearing up the land, they don't have a land Sabbath. And then they turn around and throw GMOs on the fruits and the vegetables, right? Until thus be destroyed, right? Now we getting diabetes, gout. We're destroyed, right? Not really understand, not having full focus of your mind, right? Because when you have good food helps your mind focus, helps you be able to have a good body, good strength, all this stuff, right? Which also shall not leave thee either corn nor wine or oil or increase of thy kin or flocks of thy sheep, right? Oh, think about it. Matter of fact, my mom was saying when they were younger, they had a farm, they had animals, they had all sorts of things. And this is, my mom was born in the '60s. My mom was born in '63. So you got to think all the time of her growing up, '60s, '70s, they still had land with animals on it in the '70s. And she said her dad, which is my grandfather, knew how to slaughter it. So they didn't have to take it nowhere. They didn't have to do nothing. He knew exactly how to cut up certain things, cut up the certain parts of it, you know, to make it certain cuts. You know, the sirloins is different than this and that, and then you know, Jake Jake is still in a Gentile state of mind, so he's cutting up the hull. He know how to cut the separate the thing and know what part makes this part, what makes it bacon or whatever. Eating abominable foods, right? But they had that. But look, it's just so you don't have no more cattle. If you think about it, now, you have to rely on the self-proclaimed so-called white man, which is your enemy, by the way. Now you have to go to the grocery store, right? Because they make it illegal. You can't just slaughter your own animal like you used to. I don't know. Some people say they go out there and deer hunt and they whatever and they go cut it up. I don't know where they go cut it up at. Or maybe it's okay if you just go out and go to a certain place, but you can't do it within the city limits or whatever. No, I'm pretty sure that's illegal now. You can't just. I mean, hey, it says the flock of thy sheep until thus till he have destroyed thee, right? So now you have to go to the grocery stores. Yeah, so this is Acts chapter 2. I'm going to go 16, 2 and 16. But this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel, right? And it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. It ain't talking about, well, I guess so, because you got Edomites that have dreams and this and that, but this is primarily for Israelites, right? Because this is the time that we're coming back through all the was it they had the fluoride in the water, the lead in the paint, the so-called immunization shots that turned children into having Down syndrome or what's that thing called? What is it? Autistic, Salakia. Tawada Yahweh Bashim. For giving me that because I was so struggling. Yeah, autistic, all those different things, right? And and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the Most High, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. See, and that's the time that we're at, right? Prophesy basically means to say what's going to happen before it happened, right? Right? Many are called, but few are chosen, right? So you could prophesy or you could have a dream. You could say this and that, but that doesn't make you be the elect, right? And your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams, right? And that's in Joel chapter 2. And on my servants and my handmaids, right? So servant being men, handmaids being women, I will pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy, right? And that's ultimately what we're doing. That part of that prophesying is what to come back to life, right? Yeah, so Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 10. So I prophesied, right? Because that's basically what the Lord has given us as the men. The women have, they have their dreams or whatever, visions. But, it's the men's job to go out on the highways and the byways, right? So I prophesy as he commanded me, and the breath came into them. Who? The Israelites. This what this whole thing is talking about. The breath came into them. It's not saying Esau, Ham, Elam, Ammon, Moab. It's not going into any other nation, right? It's only talking about the Israelite. The breath came into them, and they lived. Talking about the Israelites, right? You have to read the whole chapter. We read the whole thing. It's talking about Israel, right? And they stood upon their feet, an exceedingly great army, right? That breath, right? Right. So this is blue letter. And go ahead and go into the, the translation. See the breath.
From page 7307. Ruach, Ruach.
Yeah, right, which basically it's Rakah. Yeah, basically it's talking about the Rakah. Yeah, the Rakah Quadash. Yeah, Quadash. Yeah, Quadash, spirit, right? Quadash, Ruah, right? Ruah, the spirit, Ruah, Ruah. I guess they go the Rakah, yeah, the Rakah, because they saying they do it different, but it's the Rakah, which goes into the spirit, right? The wind, breath, mind, spirit, right? Basically going into the spirit of it, breath, wind, right? I like this right here. It's just a temper, anger, right? Because sometimes we teach and then not even being like a certain way. It's, oh, you're teaching angry, but the spirit has a temper and it's angry. You know what I mean? But the Lord says, "Be angry and what sin not." So I mean that's beautiful. Prophetic spirit, yeah, it puts you in a prophetic spirit, right? The breath does, because what? We're coming out of the BS of the world, all the the drugs, the gangs, the different things, right? Because the lady's saying get the children, but yeah, you do got to teach them to read, because hey, the Lord said, "Blesses he that readeth," right? So, matter of fact, you know what I mean. Let's see if I can get to this other thing real quick. To smell, to scent, a scent. Prevent, set, horse, to delight, to touch, smell, touch. I like this one. Quick understanding, right? Because ultimately that's what that's giving us, right? Because you may not understand anything else in this life. The financial, you know, understanding a lot of things that have to do with this world and the way things are. But something about the scriptures comfort you, and it gives you what? A quick understanding. Yeah, so the Rakah, yeah, enjoy, yeah, because it brings you joy too. Joy, it brings you everything. Quick understanding, touch, make of quick understanding, to smell, accept. But yeah, with all that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakah Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. Salutations to the occupant of four winds, preaching the truth of sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold through the loins of your father, right? To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and honor your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and a Baba Ball.